Okay, good morning. I'm going to test my awnings out. And I've got my battery. And I've got my awning wires. And those wires have to be run up to the ceiling in conduit and up here. But before I do that, I'm going to go ahead and test wire this thing just to make sure it functions properly. So let me hook it all up and then I'll show you what it does. See you soon. Okay, keep your eye on the awning. Watch this.
Feel like a kid in the candy store on this one. What'd you do with those fittings?
No, right, the bits?
Yeah. All the, not the bits, but the flex fittings. I couldn't tell you if it's leaking or if it is where.
How cool is that? That awning works great.
I'm just gonna replace it.
Okay, getting ready to hook up my motor wires for my awning. I don't know how well you can see, but it's all good. Okay, trimming those down a little bit. This is 14 gauge wire I'm working with. So on your little meter there, you got your gauges on there. And it's just as simple as putting it on, squeezing it, and twisting it off. Alright, I'm gonna twist these real good. Now, on this end you can see I've already got my butt connectors. I've got my two shrink wraps for each of those butt connectors, and then I've got one that's going to go over the whole thing. This is one of those connections that you know, you got to get it right the first time, because once I close the walls in, you know, yes, could I get in there and fix it if these wires ever came loose? Sure. So I'm pulling on my connections. Everything's good. As you can see, I've got a black and a red wire, and my awning has a red and black wire, which is ground, and then it has a red wire with a white stripe, and it's and that's the hot. So I'm gonna go ahead and do my my ground, which is my black wire. And you slip it in there, and also on here, see, red, blue, yellow. So I'm using blue. Crimping that down, give it a little tug, it's all good. Slip in my red or my hot wire, push it into the connector, and you can feel it, and give it a crimp. And And there you have it. So I'm gonna give it a couple of good tugs. Everything feels real good. And now I'm gonna slip over my shrink shield, whatever you want to call it. Actually, squeeze that one a little much. I'm gonna round it off a little bit. There we go. And then I can push that over it. Same thing here. Push that over it. So what these do, I don't know if you can see them or not, just provides a little extra protection when I hit that with the heat gun. And this is the heat gun. It's like a blow dryer. You can hear it. And when you heat this shrink wrap up, it shrinks. Hence the name, I guess. Makes a nice connection. Makes that joint very solid. And just using heat. Okay. All right. Now, as I said earlier, I also put a larger one that's now going to go over both of those and pretty much make that joint solid as a rock. So now I'm going to join those two back together, or shrink wrap this big one. And this is totally overdoing it, but that's what I do. I'm not interested in down the road having to fix something like this in the walls. I want it perfect the first time and the last time. Okay. Okay. I'm gonna let that cool off for a second. But you can see that it is, I've sealed up those two joints. And that connection's never coming loose. That connection's never coming loose. Okay, I'll be back. Okay. There's our awning wire. Goes up and heads straight back to the utility room. There's going to be about 85 of those running through that ceiling, so once I get them all up there, then I'll put some conduit around, a bunch of them. So what I'm going to do now is go into my utility room and do the other awning, and then I'll label these two wires. I'll be back. Okay, we got the other one working. Works good. I temporarily hooked it up to a switch and a battery. So let's crank that puppy in. Sweet. Oh, I love that shit. Okay, now that I've tested it, I'm gonna go hook up my wires, run my wires up the wall. Be back soon. Okay, I've tug tested the connections, they're all crimped, and now I'm getting ready to heat shrink. I'll be back. Okay. The rear awning wire is run. comes over, and I've got it wire tied with my forward awning, and I've just got my excess wire spooled up and ready to go. I measured just how much I'm gonna need because I'm gonna put most of my 12-volt stuff. You can't see. I'm gonna put most of my 12-volt stuff right down in here. So, all right, let's see. I'm gonna move on to this light right here, this porch light, which we installed last week or whenever. It's the motion detector, so I'm gonna hook that one up since I'm in this room. Oh, real quick, one thing I forgot to mention was the awning switch. It's upside down. The awning switches will be installed up by the front door. So keep in mind, these wires right here power the motor, okay? So what I'm going to be doing is sending the power is going to be coming from a fuse box, and the switch is going to be coming from the the switch will be powered by a common wire that'll run all the way up to the front of the trailer. So when we wire these in, I'll get you on board and show you. All right. Okay. I am bouncing around a little bit, but I wanted to install this this heat ducting in the front here before I forgot. Not that I would forget, but it's just something that's I just want to get done. So let me drill that out, cut it out, and then I'll show you the finished product. All right, there's our register. I've got it. I've got my clamp on there. She's tight as fish booty. And I've got it bolted to the wood. And I'm gonna seal up around that right now. And that'll be just fine. I'm putting the aluminum tape around my connection here. Every little bit helps. Now remember, this cavity gets, filled with spray foam. So that whole tube and everything, once it comes back over here, I'll show you, will just be tight with closed cell foam. So it'll be nice and airtight. All right, I'll show you in a minute. Okay. I'm getting ready to clean up and head home. I wanted to show the finished plenum. Everything's tied in, secured, and ready to rock. And here's what I did for my heat out here. Now keep in mind, this that right there gets a finished piece of plywood, the same that's on the floor. So what I'm going to do is I've got a register vent that I will insert in the plywood, and the plywood, of course, will be, I'll cut that square for the register cover. But there it is. Got one there on that side of the living room, and one there. Okay. All right, so that's two. And then I got this one right here that's heading down to the bedroom there. It'll come up through the cabinet on the side there and blow towards the bedroom. Then there's this one right here. Does the same thing, comes up in the side of the bathroom vanity, and I'll have a 90 plenum thing made, and it'll shoot right into the bedroom. And then there's this one right here. Comes out, goes over and comes up, and that'll be in the side of the hot water tank cabinet. It'll blow right into the bathroom. And then there's this long one. It goes this way. goes under the bathroom, behind the drain, and straight on into my utility room. And you know, one of the things I'm hoping as far as a benefit of running all of this through the floor is that my all my water pipes, there's my stub out for the gas, the hot water tank, the kitchen sink is right there. Had pressure on this thing all day at 62. I guess it's like 64, and it's held right there. So I've got at least an airtight water lines. And then of course hot water comes over to here from the hot water tank, and then my cold water is just stubbing out from my supply. So basically right here, I'm basically standing, this is right in front of the vanity. So I've got my hot and cold here, which will also service, you know, the shower. But we'll get more into that later. You can see my gas line, it's all run. It's all good. Today I did my awnings, you saw that. So basically got a little bit more tightening up to do with the water lines, as far as, you know, securing them, you know, making sure that they're far enough down so that when my 1.5-inch screw goes in to hold the floor down, that I don't puncture anything. Pretty much at this point, there is nothing that's less than 1.5 inches, but you got to check that stuff, because you do not want to put a screw in your water line. Okay, let me start cleaning up all my shit, and I'll be back. Say goodbye. Okay, I'm gonna call this day a very productive day. Very productive. Got a lot done today. Yes, indeed. When I could say I got all the rough plumbing done, the HVAC rough done, and now all I have to do is work on electrical, which, by the way, and as you all know, is my favorite part. So I'll be doing that. I think I'll probably take tomorrow off. Tomorrow's Christmas Eve, and spend some time with my baby. All the windows are closed, and I tell you, I was excited to see my awnings come out. Once I get the battery in place for testing purposes and things are starting to hook up, it'd be nice to open those during the day while I'm working. You know, little shade never hurt no one. So, all right, that's it for today. Give a like if you like it. Give a subscribe if you want to be notified, and there's a little bell up in the top there you can click, and it'll notify you when I upload new videos. And comments are always appreciated. Y'all have a great night. Bye.